Arjeplog is in the Swedish Lapland, the only city in a territory bigger than Montenegro, with less than 3,000 inhabitants and almost 3,600 lakes. Being on the borders of the Arctic Circle, between November and March, the temperature rarely rises above zero and can descend to -40 and below. Perfect conditions for extreme tests, in other words, ice cold. You see, Arjeplog is not a tourist resort, but many people spend the winter there, testing cars. In Arjeplog, the cold creates huge icy surfaces on which low adhesion tracks have been developed. This is where FCA carries out its cold performance tests on all the models of all its brands. But why Arjeplog? Once, cars were tested for cold in the Alps, occasionally in Finland, but there was really no dedicated and properly equipped testing center. Until a component manufacturer decided to carry out fine-tuning tests on ABS systems here in Arjeplog, attracting the attention of many major automotive brands. The presence of a strategic component supplier in a certain area encouraged both the development of the system and its testing. Before long, Arjeplog and its neighboring towns, such as Arvidsjaur, Älvsbyn and Slagnäs, saw the creation of numerous test sites by the most important sector manufacturers, not only for the development of onboard electronics, but also for testing all vehicle systems. Over the years, FCA has constantly integrated and improved its Arjeplog base and its testing ground. The FCA Center consists of buildings that seem more like chalets than industrial buildings. Work is done in protected, comfortable and highly equipped settings. A petrol station and a car wash inside the complex make it possible to carry out all testing phases without having to leave the protected area. The FCA base contains offices and meeting rooms and has a large heated workshop, plus a secret garage for checks on prototypes with no masking. It also offers climate-controlled cells in order to guarantee precisely controlled temperatures. Sometimes these cells are heated, for example when a test is scheduled at 15 degrees and the outside temperature is -30. In Arjeplog, various teams operate simultaneously, coordinated so as to share the same test sessions. The FCA structure enables up to 50 people to work at the same time. 250 designers, technicians and test drivers pass through during the winter, plus over 200 group vehicles. For some tests, the cars arrive on car transporters already fitted with all their data measuring instruments. But sometimes the cars are driven all the way to Arjeplog from Italy, passing through Austria and Germany. During this 3,000-kilometer test, continuous system monitoring allows all functional parameters to be recorded in operation. Time to get onto the track. The FCA Arjeplog base has about 15 snow-covered tracks, which make it possible to start testing as early as November. But for the most part, the tests take place directly on the lake. As soon as the ice consolidates, reaching a thickness of about 1 meter, the handling tracks are prepared, plus the dynamic square and the 2 rings with diameters of 200 and 500 meters. In Arjeplog, tests take place in the most extreme conditions. Wind, rain, snow and ice punish every single part of the car. Here, the suspensions are fine-tuned. Their elasticity is neutralized by the temperature, and this makes it possible to evaluate kinematics and handling as in no other part of the world. As well as this, the continuous and constant cold allows and enables tests to be made in identical situations until the best result is achieved. Cold resistance tests are carried out on powertrains, tires, brakes, differentials, traction systems and electronic control systems. It is vital to test and evaluate not only component wear and durability under extreme conditions, but also the way the temperature affects materials and system performance and reaction times. All this work is done while thinking of the customer, so user-friendly conveniences also play a major role, from windscreen wipers to climate systems, from glass demisting to defrosting. Under these conditions, the driver must always be extremely concentrated. Apart from weather hazards, another menace for test drivers is the risk of encountering animals in their path during the tests. The animals must be protected, and so must be the car, and especially those inside it. An encounter with an elk can be a dangerous business. Needless to say, the double swerve with return to path maneuver in order to avoid an obstacle, the so-called elk test, was born right here. For over 45 years now, the best ice driving technicians and drivers in the world gather here in this small town of the far north. They sojourn in Arjeploeg's many small hotels, and when the hotels are full, in the homes of local residents who gladly offer their extraordinary hospitality. They're not often to be seen in the town by day because they are always on the track, and also because, in this season, the day is so short. They can be seen in the streets of Arjeploeg at supper time, trying to shelter from the cold of the polar night, eating with friends, phoning their families, and of course, commenting on the day's tests. We see them driving cars of all kinds, from sports cars to off-road models, big sedans or nimble city cars, whose number plates indicate many different countries and climates. These masked cars are the cars of tomorrow.